power as a visual language, structure as a visual language. This is the Boston City Hall. Completed in 1968, the new Boston City Hall is a product of its time, both in terms of architectural context and historical. The building reflects on the urban renewal efforts of the prevalent architectural trends noticed in the 20th century. During this time, many American government systems found power in art as a visual language, whereas many government buildings, such as the Boston City Hall and even places like the Dallas City Hall, were portraying their large, essential government structures in these mouth-watering brutalist architecture styles. The building's controversial design has sparked ongoing discussions in the place of the city's history and its role in shaping the landscape itself. The place where the Boston City Hall stands today was once preoccupied by the Scollay Square, an historic commercial entertainment district. The demolition of the Scollay Square was a controversial aspect of Boston's urban renewal efforts, and thus it made way for a government center complex. The construction of the City Hall was also part of a broader urban renewal project in the government center area. This was a widespread movement during the 20th century, not only in Boston, but nationwide, which aimed to revitalize and modernize urban cores by replacing outdated structures with new functional infrastructures. When looking at the architectural style of this building, we see that the architectural style of the Boston City Hall is classified as brutalism. Brutalist buildings are characterized by the use of raw concrete, such as in this building, how large concrete bricks essentially define the structure of the building. Brutalist buildings are also known for their bold geometric forms, such as on the outside of the building, where you have an essential maze of windows overlooking the bustling skyline. Not only that, but looking in the inside of the building at things like the columns holding the building together, the staircases that have abstract designs. These are all examples of brutalist buildings. Looking back at it, the city does not look like it used to in the 60s before homes were brutally destroyed to build this brutalist architecture building known as the Boston City Hall. Constructed in 1965 by the Coleman, McKinley Knowles and funded by the government of Boston, it was completed in 1968 and received lots of attention. The use of brutalism was a form of modernity at the time, and is characterized by the use of raw concrete and sheer geometric shapes that caught the eyes of viewers. But that was almost 100 years ago. Today is a new day. Brutalism is not the same. The lasting impacts of brutalism design were not only seen in the fact that these buildings are still revered today, but due to the fact that their early functionality was built for issues like today. Whereas even these buildings were once upon a time, according to the city councilor, were built to have living organisms inside. This shows the lasting impact of brutalism on modern architecture and how fueling functional design has inspired other architectures. It has influenced the designs of many government buildings across the nation, from DC to Dallas to anywhere in between. Looking at the building now, a lot of the same staircases have gone, a lot of the same functionalities are still there, and a lot of the improvements actually never happened. And looking at the present Boston Day City Hall, this building is not only shaped by the architects of the past, but the architects of the future, which are the city councilmen at the time. I was able to catch up with Brian Worrell while we were there, and here's how he feels about being an architect of his city.
And being in this building for me is fascinating. So for you, Mr. Worrell, how does it feel being like a council member here, and how do you see this building as an architectural piece and as a piece of architect that you craft as a policymaker?
Yeah, for me, it's more than just, the cement walls, the cement hallways, but it's the vibrancy that the people bring into the Ionella chamber, into the Piemonte room where we celebrate not only policy wins, but culture. We hear about great organizations that are doing, amazing work in the city of Boston and bringing resources when it comes to like food justice, mental health support. Topics. So for me, the building is vibrant, it's beautiful, it's forward moving, it's forward thinking, and it's, shaping the future.